Hello and welcome back everyone to another brand new Motogp 24 episode. Today we are back for the Austrian GP, my home race for my team, of course. So KTM will be hoping for some good results. Now I will be post-coming pretty much the rest of this series, starting with today's episode. It's just a bit easier to record, faster to get through really, and I think overall the production quality will be slightly better, so it should make a bit better of a video hopefully. Friday started off a little bit rough. We were slowly but surely feeling our way through the Friday schedule, making a couple of changes, and overall it didn't feel too bad. I had to kind of go a bit of we'll say a backwards way with the setup and kind of limit my ability to get the bike to rotate, to improve braking, so real kind of dilemmas with the engineer. But we did end up P5 overall on Friday ahead of Jorge Martin, so pace looked okay, but the Aprilias looked like they had just a bit more than everyone else, and we come in here and look to qualifying, and we have 21 points to pull back to Jorge Martin, so we're going to have to basically try and take points off him any time he is maybe slightly off the wall. This weekend didn't look amazing on Friday. Qualifies third, which kind of doesn't back up my feeling that he wasn't really doing too well, but we qualified sixth. And here we are now in the sprint. It's critical we get a good launch, as I say in every video. Once again, it's a poor launch, but into turn one, it's a real tight right-hander, so we're going to just try and pinch a small bit. We get a position back on Pecco Bagnaia, and we're going to go really tight. Small bit of contact between me and Jorge Martin. He looks to have made a poor start and kind of got swallowed up into turn one, and we're now going up in between Marquez on my left and Bastianini on my right. Alex Marquez on the left, that was, because Mark is up in P2 now. Jack Miller up ahead, so he's going to be very much in his teammate's corner defending. But I just felt Vinales' pace untouchable, and the way I set the bike up was to brake quite hard and quite aggressively, but it didn't really leave me anything in the middle sectors to kind of get a run on him, so it was really hard to overtake. I could defend quite well because you can see I could brake quite deep, even though I do go a touch wide, but just felt like if someone got ahead of me, they could roll through the corners a bit better than me. But the bike was set up not the way I would particularly like it, and we actually tried something different for the main race, but I won't spoil that yet. But not the most interesting sprint I've ever had. We jumped out to the start lap 5, 1.4 up to Miller. Vinales has kind of a comfortable lead over Marquez on the Gresini Ducati. Bastianini behind half a second, 6:10, so we're just about kind of matching our pace ahead of the Italian aboard the Aprilia. And really, we just don't have enough to be pulling in the three guys on the podium, so it's looking like we were going to be fourth. Now Jorge Martin is down in 8th, so maybe the Friday thoughts of his pace not being particularly the strongest here at the Rebel Ring was actually correct. So we're pushing on this lap. We're trying to make sure we're as close as possible to anyone in front if a mistake comes, but it turns out we actually make a mistake. And you might actually notice, I forgot to say in this video, previous video someone asked me to put my controller overlay on. I did, and for some reason it's not recorded any inputs. I went back into OBS while editing this, and it picks up my inputs immediately, so I'm not really sure how it glitched out for the video, so you just have a picture of an Xbox controller on the screen. But yeah, I just said I mentioned that, but we do end up P4. My rider's not too happy, but to be honest, P4, Jorge Martin P8, that's a handful of points gained. We were 21 points back, and now it is down to 17, so 4 points. Like, you can't really turn down 4 points when you're trying to gain in on your championship rival. But here we are now on Sunday. We have turned the bike upside down, different front tire, different setup, and we've gone really the opposite way. I felt like on Saturday's sprint my pace was okay on my own, but I couldn't really battle them when I tried to make a bike that maybe I could roll through the corners and slightly sacrifice my corner entry. Once again, we go down into turn 1 and looks like we have a small bit of contact with Jorge Martin, and again up to P4. We really go aggressive here on the two in front. We release the brakes slightly just to avoid maybe a collision with Miller, but we're thinking now maybe the bike feels amazing early in this race, but we do know some of the competition do like to kind of go a bit slow on the opening lap. But we're really hot into 4, unfortunately off the track, and this corner here I just don't seem to get the drive compared to the rest of the field. The Ducatis and the Aprilias really just launch out of there, and we've actually jumped all the way back down to P5. Pecco has gotten up past us now as well, but we're trying to break deep. You can see the bike is pulling all sorts of shapes, and Pecco gets it even wrong into the very difficult turn 5. So we're really trying to keep ourselves out of trouble, but not really doing a good job of it at the moment. But we're coming up to lap 3, and we're just again struggling to pull it down. So I've given away a bit of braking performance. Maybe be slightly better through kind of turn 6, 7, 8, 9, that kind of sector. but at the moment it doesn't really seem to be paying off because the pace actually is quite a bit worse. Usually on Sunday the offset of the tyre comes back to me, but it doesn't seem to be happening this week. So we've kind of nearly snookered ourselves now because we're down in P5. Nea Bashnini's passed us. He's now on the verge of passing Marquez for podium. So like I said, the Aprilias look really strong around here, and it's proving well because Miller is by far the fastest Ducati all weekend. He's up now in P2. Marc Marquez, in fairness, was doing quite well on his Grissini, but I think he just lacked maybe a bit of equipment compared to the factory Shun teams, and we're getting close to him now, but we're just getting into the middle sectors now, and through the corners we're actually kind of keeping with them, holding him up. But at the moment now, the other guys behind are taking too much out of us on the brakes. So you can see Pecco's literally riding my back wheel, and we have to brake a bit deep. The bike's just a bit nervous. I don't have the speed. You can see how much later Pecco brakes and just takes time out of me. But for now, we just would hold on. But it doesn't mean that we're going to keep him behind, because again, half a lap later, and he is up now into P5. So we're down to P6, and that is not great. And that Prima Pramac Ducati behind me is, of course, the championship leader, Jorge Martin. So this race had so much promise that looked like maybe Martin was off the ball this weekend and I could kind of push on, but it isn't to be. So we end up now basically losing touch completely to the podium. Pecco and Bashnini are a good 2 seconds up the road ahead of Marquez. I'm kind of just faster than Marquez, but for some reason Mark, whether he doesn't like me or not, I don't know, but every overtake he goes for is an absolute lunge, and he keeps leaving the brake off me. And you probably see some clips. I've cut out some of it because some of it is kind of game breaking, where he just runs me off the track, and I've kind of altered it so it didn't ruin the race. But I just felt that some things were not really right, whereas I've kind of kept in the stuff that is good. But that's Fabio Quartararo showing some speed for probably the first time this year on that GP25. So we're basically up against quicker equipment around me and probably better riders, so I'm struggling at the moment to really keep them behind in the braking. I'm usually quite strong on the brakes, but whatever I've done to the bike setup wise, I feel good through this corner and the next couple of corners, and you will see that I kind of gain back time. But I have a bit of a Yamaha syndrome where I just can't make it happen on the brakes, and in the heavy braking zones the others are just way stronger than me. Once again, I've been passed by Fabio, but we try to slide back through on turn 9. We get a bit of run on Marquez, but we're not going to be able to really do anything on the outside, so we have to kind of just concede the position, try and hold around the outside. But again, we're just not going to be able to roll around the outside of Marquez. So lap 9 here now, we're just about to start lap 10. Jorge Martin's only just behind me, so this has really been a bit of a nightmare race. The setup change clearly has not worked. We get a good run on Mark, just my lack of confidence on the brake, I kind of have to back out of it. I can't really do much, but we get a good run through turn 1. He kind of maybe loses the front slightly because I actually catch him way too much into the first corner and run through and just a small bit of contact, and he throw up the hand in frustration. But you can see here now he does get his way back. Look how much later he's braking. In fairness, if the AI could do that every day of the week, every race, it would be so good to race if they could just pass you like that clean and that precise. But more often than not, they just turn in and hit you. But that was beautiful, Marcus. That was a beautiful overtake. So again, even at the time when I saw it happen, I was like, oh, that's going to be amazing for the video. But a slight mistake there, out onto the green. I'm surprised we didn't get our final warning because we are on 4 and we have been pushing our luck slightly. Quartararo is ahead of us now on the factory Ducati, and we've kind of pinched him here slightly. We've let the brake off and gone around the outside. That is us back up into P6, which isn't that great really, considering we were on a little bit better schedule for the race I was hoping for, but just the race has not played out that way. But we still have time yet, we still have a few laps. You never know what could happen in these last laps. But we ran the medium front, and I always say it can only run the softs, but the bike just didn't feel good in the braking with the soft front. So that was probably another mistake. I probably should have just stuck with the soft front. But you can see there now, look at the speed from Fabio, and we tried to just brake a touch deep, and again my just overall braking performance has not been there. And that's Jorge Martin dives to the inside on the last corner. Again, we kind of get pushed a touch wide, and now we are behind our championship leader. This race is falling apart. We only have 2 and a bit laps left, and we go for a massive lunge into turn 1. We have to basically keep him behind at all costs. We're lucky enough there, we can just pull that bike down. I think the bike now is a little less fuel on board, so it's a bit lighter. But here we are now on the kind of midpoint of lap 13. Fabio there gets a big wheelie, I get good drive, and now we're back up to P6. So we've gone from P8 to P6, and Fabio is looking like he's trying to get a position back. And that corner there, I just don't have anything for my competitors. I really just wheelie out there and bob, and just the bike cuts so much. It looks like Martin has made a mistake because he's 1.1 back already, but we go for a bit of a squeeze up the inside. We're using all of our powers at this point in the race to get past Quartararo, he does squeeze you slightly, but I can't really do much when he kind of just turns in when I'm alongside him. But we're now basically a lap left. Bastianini ahead has gotten a warning. He's going to be a danger man for this last lap, as he's on the podium, but no longer is he. He's after crashing in the penultimate right-hander. We gained so much on the entry, because as soon as I see that and think, right, that's a free position, and there he is, and he just rejoins the race line. We cut the inside and we get much better drive out. So now we're back up to P5. We've been gifted a P5 and we've gotten a brilliant run out of the last corner in the slipstream mark. Realistically, there's no way we can pass him from back here, but we do actually try it. We release the brake, down the inside we go, very minor contact, we just go across the curb, and somehow we've gone from basically P7 to P4 in a couple of corners. And now we have Pecco ahead, and he's actually kind of dropped his pace through the second phase of this race, because he was so far ahead. Now we're pretty much back on him. I'm thinking myself again, there's no really way I can pass him into this corner, because he just draft past me out of here. But again, I just feel a bit cheeky and I just stick the wheel in. Again, there is contact, but unfortunately on this game you can't really do much without contact. And out of here I did my best just to keep the bike straight and get the power down, and we actually got ourselves somehow up into P3 here on this final lap. So now it's all about doing the perfect half a lap from turn 5 to the final corner, and straight away we got touch wide, but we managed to kind of use the different lines to kind of keep ourselves ahead. And we've already nearly half a second over Pecco, so at this time I didn't realise the gap, but I am pushing on really hard through this sector, because I know this is where the bike is working, and I feel like maybe I could get dived into the last couple of corners. So I'm really trying to run the bike in hot, use the front end feeling that we have in today's race. Obviously the braking performance wasn't there, but we did have a good bike that was turning, and we pulled another small bit of time out there. But on the run to the final corners, Pecco is gaining. It's down to 2 tenths, and we've 2 corners to go. Surely we can hold on. We pull a tenth back in the final couple of corners, and we just hold on. He's only just there. He gets a track limits warning on the final corner, which means he really was pushing on, but somehow we've managed to salvage a podium from today's race. Miller in second. Vinales wiped the floor with everyone this weekend. It was his weekend. Jorge Martin down in P8. So let's see in a second what that does to the championship. We are now 9 points behind the Spaniard on the GP25 in the Pramac team. So it's really looking good now that we might actually have a bit of a run in, that we could actually go. We're kind of getting into the last quarter of the season now. We've Aragon next, which is a track particularly I don't like that much, but I wouldn't say it's a bad track for me. So we're going to see how that one goes. I'm looking forward to that one, as I feel like we're on a bit of a run now, because we're taking good points off now today. And if we can kind of again maybe take another 3, 4, 5 points off, then it's down to one single race win could do it for us. So we're getting to the point now where maybe Martin has a bit of a chink in his armour. He's made a couple of mistakes in today's races, didn't really do much other than qualifying the front row for this race weekend. So it's definitely an interesting one, considering Pecco was fast, Marquez was fast, and of course Jack Miller, the Pramac bike, was very, very fast all weekend, getting a podium in the sprint and the main race. But that is where we're going to end it for today's video. I hope you have enjoyed. Join us again for the next episode in a couple of days' time, hopefully, where hopefully in Aragon we can continue our form against Jorge Martin. Thanks for watching. Slán go fóill.